You are the foundation of everything you build. Every result you want to create, every relationship you want to elevate, every goal you want to hit, it all starts with you. That's why this message is called Focus on You, because if you are not solid, nothing you build will be. You can try to chase success, pour into other people, give and serve and hustle all you want. But if you neglect the one person holding it all together, eventually everything starts to crash. Most people are running around trying to fix the symptoms in their life. They're trying to fix broken finances, broken relationships, broken opportunities. But the truth is, you don't fix your life by changing the outer parts. You fix your life by upgrading you. When you become better, everything around you starts to shift. When your mindset expands, your world expands. When your self-worth rises, your standards rise. When your habits grow stronger, your outcomes follow. That's why the first move you've got to make is inward. You've got to start asking real questions. Am I becoming the version of myself that can carry what I'm asking for? Because the dream you're chasing requires a version of you that's not just hoping and wishing. It requires a version of you that is rooted, disciplined, focused, and emotionally grounded. You can't build a life of greatness on a foundation of insecurity. Yeah. You can't create peace when your mind is in chaos. You can't be everything for everyone else while you keep abandoning yourself. Now, hear me clearly. Focusing on you doesn't mean being selfish. It means being responsible. It means taking full ownership of your growth, your healing, your energy, and your identity, because nobody else is coming to do that for you. And the longer you wait for someone else to give you permission to take care of yourself, the longer you delay the life you were born to live. You've got to get serious about mastering your inner world. That means managing your thoughts, mastering your emotions, and getting clear on who you really are. Not who the world told you to be, not who your past tried to define you as, but who you were designed to be. Because when you know who you are, you stop chasing validation, you stop apologizing for your strength, you stop playing small to make other people comfortable. You become a stable force, not perfect, but powerful, not flawless, but focused. And when you're grounded like that, you don't crumble every time life hits you with pressure. You don't fold every time someone disappoints you. You don't give up every time the results don't come fast enough. You've got roots, you've got identity, you've got clarity, and with that, you can build anything. People think they need more strategy, more resources, more connections, but what they really need is a stronger them. Because when you get better, your strategy gets clearer. When you become more valuable, opportunities start to find you. When you elevate, your environment starts to reflect that. So the best investment you'll ever make isn't in a product, a program, or a partnership. It's in becoming the version of yourself that your future needs. Focus on you, not because you're broken, but because you're becoming. Not because you're behind, but because you're building. And when you become solid at the center, you'll be able to carry more, give more, and impact more without losing yourself in the process. Focus on you. Your energy is your greatest asset. Let that sink in. Not your time, not your talent, not even your money, your energy. Because if your energy is off, everything else is going to feel off too. You could have all the time in the world and still feel stuck. You could have access to the right people and still miss your moment. Why? Because your energy wasn't protected. You let distractions drain you. You let people pull from you without pouring anything back in. You kept saying yes to things that were silently killing your peace. You've got to start guarding your energy like your future depends on it, because it does. The version of you that's locked in, focused, full of clarity and peace, that version creates better, leads better, lives better. But that version can't survive if you keep letting everything and everyone hijack your focus. You can't build your next level while staying available to every notification, every opinion, every bit of drama, or every person that doesn't align with where you're going. See, most people don't realize how much they're leaking energy. not through massive things, but through little things. That one conversation you knew you shouldn't have entertained. That social media scroll that turned into a spiral. That favor you agreed to out of guilt, not purpose. That situation you keep reliving in your mind that's already over. And you wonder why you're tired, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You're not just exhausted, you're leaking. You've got to take inventory. Who has access to your mind? Who has access to your spirit? Who gets to speak into your day? Because not everyone deserves a front row seat in your life. Some people were only meant to be in the audience and you're handing them the microphone. And let me be clear. It's not about cutting people off from a place of pride. It's about creating boundaries from a place of protection. You can't keep making your purpose available to people who don't value it. And it's not just about other people. It's also about you. How are you speaking to yourself? What kind of energy are you generating inside your own head? Because it doesn't matter how peaceful your environment is if you keep waging war in your thoughts. You've got to stop feeding your mind lies about your worth, your ability, your potential. That negative self-talk, that constant second guessing, that's draining you too. Protecting your energy also means protecting your internal dialogue. Speak to yourself with the same clarity, compassion, and conviction you want the world to speak back to you with. Every day you've got a choice. You can give your energy to things that subtract, or you can give it to things that multiply. You can stay focused on what's not working, or you can lock in on what's still possible. You can let the noise control your narrative, or you can anchor yourself in peace so deeply that nothing external can shake you. Because here's the truth. When your energy is clean, your vision gets clearer. When your energy is protected, your decisions become sharper. You start attracting better people, creating at a higher level, and moving with a kind of calm confidence that doesn't get rattled by chaos. You stop chasing alignment and you start embodying it. So stop giving your best energy to your worst distractions. Stop watering dead plants. Stop making room for things that don't make room for you. You have too much calling on your life to keep leaking energy on things that don't matter. Focus on you. One of the most powerful shifts you can make in your life is moving from competition to evolution. I'm talking about no longer obsessing over who's ahead of you, who's getting more attention, or who's winning in a space you wish you were in, and instead asking, how do I grow from who I was yesterday? See, that's the real work. That's the mindset that builds legacy. Because when you focus on becoming the best version of you, the comparison game loses its grip. But most people don't realize they've been programmed to compete. Social media feeds it. Culture feeds it. Even our upbringing sometimes fed it. We were taught to measure our worth based on who was faster, smarter, richer, prettier, more connected. And now as adults, we're still chasing after validation based on someone else's timeline. But let me tell you something. Just because someone else is winning doesn't mean, just because someone else is thriving doesn't mean you're behind. You're not late. You're just in your lane. Comparison is a thief. It doesn't just steal joy. It steals clarity. It steals focus. It robs you of the energy you need to build what's actually yours. And here's the dangerous part. It tricks you into thinking you need to become them in order to be enough. You start mimicking, imitating, conforming. But anytime you start abandoning your authenticity to chase someone else's identity, you lose power, because your real power is in your uniqueness. Your real power is in the story, the process, the rhythm that only you carry. You've got to trust that your journey is valid even if it looks different. You've got to believe that your pace is divine even if it's slower. And more than anything, you've got to know that your purpose doesn't require you to outperform. It requires you to outgrow. That's the real win. Are you outgrowing your excuses? Are you outgrowing your old mindset? Are you outgrowing the version of you that kept shrinking back every time it got hard? That's the question you ask every day. Not how do I compare to them, but how do I rise above who I used to be? That's evolution. That's self-leadership. And that's where you find real fulfillment, not in being better than others, but in being better for yourself. Because when you're focused on your own evolution, you start noticing things that really matter. You notice your triggers. You notice your patterns. You notice your wins, even the small ones. You celebrate progress instead of perfection. And that builds momentum. Momentum that isn't fragile because it's not tied to other people's approval. It's rooted in your own integrity. Let them win in their lane. Let them shine in their season. Bless them, celebrate them. But don't lose yourself trying to match them. Stay focused on your assignment. Stay focused on your growth. Your lane was designed for you. And when you run it with discipline and vision, it's only a matter of time before your results speak for themselves. The truth is, the only person who can hold you back is the version of you that refuses to grow, not the competition, not the critics, not the algorithms, just you. So every day, wake up with the decision. Evolve, grow, level up, not because you're trying to keep up with anyone else, but because you refuse to stay where you were. Focus on you. There's a reason this message is called Focus on You, because before you can multiply anything, wealth, impact, influence, love, you have to heal, you have to grow, and you have to become whole. Most people try to skip that part. They want to jump straight to the results, straight to the reward, straight to the stage. But if you don't do the inner work, the outer success will either collapse under pressure or corrupt your peace. That's why healing is not optional. Growth is not a luxury. It's the price of becoming the version of you that can carry what you've been called to carry. And healing doesn't always look pretty. Sometimes it means being honest about what still hurts. Sometimes it means confronting the parts of your story that you've tried to bury. Sometimes it means releasing the guilt, the shame, or the bitterness that's been holding space in your heart for too long, because unhealed pain will always show up somewhere. It'll bleed into your relationships. It'll shape your decisions. It'll limit your vision, right? You can't multiply a powerful future if you're still hostage to a painful past. But healing alone is not enough. You've also got to grow. You got to intentionally become better, stronger, wiser on purpose. Growth doesn't happen by accident. It requires discomfort, discipline, and consistency. It means learning how to think differently, speak differently, move differently. It means letting go of who you were in order to embrace who you're becoming. And sometimes that means leaving behind familiar environments, outgrowing certain conversations, and shedding old mindsets that don't align with your next level. See, when you focus on your healing and your growth, something powerful happens. You become the kind of person who creates overflow, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you. Your presence becomes a blessing. Your decisions ripple out in ways you can't even measure. The peace you cultivate in private starts showing up as leadership in public. The clarity you fight for starts creating vision in your family, your business, your community. That's the multiplication I'm talking about. Most people think multiplication is about hustle, about doing more, grinding harder, adding extra hours. But true multiplication doesn't start with doing. It starts with being. When you become more, you attract more. When you heal, you're no longer triggered by the same distractions. When you grow, you no longer settle for what used to hold you. And when you align, you no longer chase things. You attract what's already aligned with your purpose. That's why you've got to stop waiting for someone to hand you a platform, a promotion, or a permission slip. Start working the soil of your soul. Start investing in your emotional fitness. Start preparing now for the opportunities you haven't seen yet, because the seed you're carrying is real. But if you plant it in broken ground, it won't grow. You are the soil. You are the environment. If you cultivate yourself, the fruit will come. And when it does, it won't just feed you. It'll feed others, your kids, your team, your audience, your legacy. So don't rush the process. Don't despise the quiet seasons. Don't ignore the small steps. Healing, growing, and then multiplying. That is the rhythm of real transformation. You don't have to force the results when the foundation is solid. Everything good grows in its time, but only if